Alright, so I've been asked by a couple of people to do a basic rifle PT video to explain how some of that's done and why. The basic reason that you're doing rifle PT is that you need to become more familiar with your weapon and moving the weight that is that weapon around for the ability to use it. Jeff Cooper famously said that you should be able to hold your rifle at full arm's extension for 1 minute on either hand without too much difficulty if you wanted to be able to use it. In this case, I'm running a Mosin Nagant because I tend to believe that as it weighs in at 8.5 pounds and is longer than any of the M4s that I tend to use, if I can move this thing around, I'll move the M4 around a whole lot more easily. So anyway, getting right into it, there's some basic moves that you use when you're doing rifle PT. You're going to repeat any of them 10 times. You're going to do usually 3 sets of that. So here's the basic standing position, at rest, and starting. First one we're going to do is one of the most basic ones. It's just an in, out, up, down, and again it's repeated 10 times. You begin by bringing the weapon up to your chest, push out, bring it back in, take it up, bring it down behind the head. You're moving the rifle around the head, not the head around the rifle. That's part of the reason that we're doing this. It's forcing you to flex your muscles to move around rather than whacking yourself in the skull. So that's going to be 4, 5. From the side, this looks like this. Alright, now again, you do 10 of them that way. I generally like to also balance, doing 10 the other direction. The reason I'm doing this, as I'm moving it around, is because the weights are not equally balanced on both sides of the rifle. The barrel is a little bit lighter than the stock. So, I guarantee that I'm getting an equal workout on each side by doing it this way. Now, of course, when you're doing this in your own home or your backyard, you're probably not going to want to be switching side to side all the time like I am, moving 90 degrees to the left or the right. I'm only doing that to demonstrate form from 2 angles. Alright, next one, curls. This one's really basic. It's the same as you would do with a weight in the gym. And again, you're doing 10 on each hand. I'm keeping the upper arm in close to the body so that it's getting a good workout. Also, it helps a little bit with the balance. Again, point of balance is a little bit tricky on various rifles. So after we've done 10 of them on each hand, we're going to switch. Do them in the other direction. Keep in mind, by this time I've already done my cardio for the day. In my case, that's insanity. Cardio is actually the basis for anything that you're doing in PT. All of this is just extra. Now this feels a little bit weird compared to doing it in the other direction that I was doing a moment ago. But, again, it's about building all the proprioceptors, the little muscles that are accessories to the primary muscles doing the work. It helps with the balance. It helps, again, with how you maneuver that rifle when you're trying to drive it. Alright, next one we're going to do is squats. Now, again, this is not all that different from what you would do with weights in a weight room. Basically, you're trying to come down, get the rifle up over your head, and bringing it back down. To an extent, it doesn't matter if you're holding it up all the time or bringing it down with each stroke. Whatever works for you. There's a little bit more motion in a move like this, but if you're holding it up here, you're still going to get a really good workout. And believe me, your arms are going to get sore. From the side, it's going to look like this. The most important part about doing the squats as you're doing them is that you want to make sure that your knees are getting to approximately the 90 degrees or lower than that. All right, and again, you'd reverse it, do it the other way as well. All right, next one is to do curls with both arms. This is noticeably easier than when you're doing it one-on-one, but it also is making sure that you're getting those biceps and shoulders and forearms developed. All right, once you do that, again, reverse it. As you can see, I'm developing some sweat as I do it. So, the workout is being successful. All right. Next one is something I tend to call side-by-sides. I'm sure that there is an official term for this in exercise literature. I just don't happen to know it. Basically, you drive the rifle out in front of you with both hands. In my case, I've got my right on top and my left on bottom for right now. That's going to change. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, now I'm going to switch. Again, depending on where you're gripping, is going to change the weight and balance of the weapon. So, now, left goes on top, right goes on the bottom. 1. Now notice, as I'm doing this, I'm trying to keep the weapon near vertical. We're not swinging it around willy-nilly, letting it fly. We're keeping it under control as we move. That's part of what's developing the shoulders and back muscles. All right, next one you're going to do some bends. Again, 10 on each side, 10 with the weapon pointed to the left, 10 with it pointed to the right. And it's real basic compared to what we've been doing. This is just a stretch. But this added little bit of weight is good for you. Makes you work out harder. And it's going to strengthen the lower back muscles, which can be very useful, especially if you're somebody who has to move a patient, like a medic, like I was, or if you're just wearing a lot of body armor and carrying a lot of kit on the upper back. You need that core and lower back to be strong to do that without injury. Move as far as you successfully can without feeling pain. In my case, I can get down to my toes. That's not a big deal for me. Not everybody can pull that off. You work with what you got, you get better as you go. So don't let it worry you too much one way or the other. So after doing 10 of those on each side, now we get to the last bit. This is the ready up drill. It's done 10 on each side. This is about getting the rifle on target quickly. Again, usually you do this with an M4 or whatever your fighting rifle happens to be. But if you can pull it off with the Mosin, the M4 is a whole lot easier when you start doing your drills with that. And it's basically ready up. Now personally, I'm doing this in a mirror that's behind the camera. And I'm trying to put the muzzle of the weapon pointing directly at my own forehead in that mirror. Good for target acquisition, good for speed and control. Alright, after 10 on the one side, we switch to the other. Part of this is just to make sure that you're not getting a muscle imbalance one side versus the other. The other part of it is to ensure that you can do this on either side in the event that you have some sort of a barrier that's preventing you from going to your rifle on your primary side. And again, it's just ready up. Alright, and with that, you're back to your starting position, ready for your next set. Alright, I hope that helps.